mind, I was thinking, like, you're being tricky, you didn't show me who you are. Wouldn't show me who he was. And I started to get more doubtful and give it less attention, quote unquote. You reminded me of this. And it didn't like that at all. And it kept going back with, but I'm the most powerful being in the universe.
Right.
I can give you whatever you desire.
Right.
And I knew it was real. And I go, nah. I go, you're not showing me who you are. Like, why are you hiding who you are? You only will appear as a silhouette. Show me your face. And then it got huge, like a huge G. Clearly getting completely pissed off that I wasn't giving it its proper,
exactly, respect
really
or attention.
Saying I'm gonna fall into this and kind of like, I'm gonna fall to your, totally trying to trick me. And I wasn't falling for the trick, and it did not like that at all either. And dude, it got fucking huge and really fucking mean, like it was gonna rip me apart. Huge. And I looked up, and I'm gonna tell you right now, my brother, I had a light shining from behind me as this tiny little creature. I had the power of the Holy Spirit beaming at this bitch from behind me. It was like coming from behind me. I knew it was, because I was like, I know I'm nothing, but like, I need your help right now. I'm trying to put this bad one down in front of me, and I need you to tell him who you are and who we are.
Exactly.
And I go, you know what? I go, I do not accept you. No, I denounce you. I don't accept you. And you know what happened? It went like this. Poof!
Disappeared.
Totally disappeared. The whole situation ended. And I was like, see? That's the proof that little fucker will try to pretend it's this huge, scary beast. And all you've got to do is just say, I don't accept you. I don't think so. And poof, goes away. So I'm sorry to interrupt you with that long story, but I had an experience like this. Like what you're saying, I mean.
That's it. That's the same experience that I shared, and it's in a different form. But the ego is going to attack. And he's going to put himself so big and huge to the point that it's literally scaring you into death. Like it's trying to kill you in a way.
Yeah.
And it's not a pretty circumstance. It's the most horrifying circumstance any human being can experience, because it's coming from within. It's coming from the mind, their own mind. Not like the mind is not pretending to be the friend anymore, because we have decided that we are not afraid. We are not afraid, and we want to go to God. We want to go home.
Dude, that's what it took. I'm gonna tell you, that's what it took. Is to say, I'm not afraid anymore. Like, you're not gonna scare me. I know that you were a fucking paper tiger.
Paper tiger. Yes. Oh my God, that's a perfect example for it.
The ego is a paper tiger. It's a relentless paper tiger, but in the end, it is an empty suit that is full of shit.
I agree. I completely agree. That's because
still gets me though, little son of a bitch.
Well, because that's one of the ego's. I would not say qualities, but because quality is something that you have when you're actually contributing to somebody. Ego is only contributing to itself. So in that sense, like, ego is just trying to struggle for its own survival. It's trying to continue its existence the way it did before. And it's
Can I ask you this? Do you think the ego is simply doing what we're all ever doing in every animal, looking for a beautiful love connection? It's empty and devoid of anything real and substantial, which is love. And so it's always trying to, I am so good, look at me, you got to give me attention, blah, blah, blah. It's devoid of love. The ego is empty of love. If it wasn't, it would not do these things. So the ego just simply needs to be loved. Is that what's going on?
Ego has a certain idea about what love is because have we are love. So it has to give us some type of idea what love is. So this love to the ego is, oh, I love you if you love me. So in a sense
Oh, it is with conditions. Yeah.
with conditions. So it's like we are actually like, if no matter what happens in our true nature, we would be like, oh yeah, no problem, man, no problem, sister, whatever happens, it's fine. But because we have the ego, it is not fine. We are actually having to judge those people and punish them harshly for whatever they did to us. And we have the whole systems. Yes, and ourselves. So we just gonna be thinking about these people for so long. How could they do this to me? Why I am experiencing this? And it's like we don't even realize that we are punishing ourselves by just thinking these thoughts. And these thoughts are not even ours. They're voices that we hear.
Oh, what a travesty. Sasha, what a travesty. It's horrible.
It's the most horrible thing. It's the most horrible thing that beings are experiencing. It is the idea that they are the idea, that they are the thought, that they're thinking these thoughts, where they're just a following of path of the ego. They're following the thoughts, and they're thinking that they're the thoughts. That's the travesty.
Yes. Yes.
They're the observer of the thought. Every human being is just the observer of the thought, but they just don't know that they are the observer or the being. They're the be. When you're just being, you're just being. You're static. You're not moving. You're just being. You're seeing. So that means you're not moving with the thoughts, which are the movers. You're being and observing the thoughts. But for whatever reason, we just appear to be the doers or the action makers that all these thoughts are telling us to be. Like we're being manipulated. We are simply being manipulated by our own very minds, not by the other people.
Right.
By the other minds.
And if we can stop this for periods of time, which we can do, we can see this taking place.
Exactly.
And it does get kind of funny. It's like, oh my God, you're hilarious. Look at you still trying. It's like somebody just like, it's like this punk kid who's maybe jealous of you because you're better at him at wiffle ball. And he's always trying to chase you around with a wiffle ball bat, just like smacking you with a wiffle ball bat. Like why are you doing that? You know you're just a jealous little son of a bitch. Why don't you just work on your own game, and then you can stop trying to manipulate me? Just because I'm a better wiffle ball player? And that's what it is. We're the all. We're the holy all. We are the God. And the ego's kind of jealous of that.
The ego is really jealous because it does not want to lose control. So if you do not want to lose control and you have been in power, you're going to try to manipulate that power in order to keep the control.
So
that
you say you, but we know you mean the ego, Justin.
Exactly. So that's the ego is going to try to manipulate its power, or so right now most people believe that they're the thoughts and what they're thinking, that's I'm thinking that. So ego, once they start to wake up and they're starting to question and say like, wait a second, what are these thoughts that I'm thinking? It's going to become difficult for the ego to defend its idea of, oh well, you're the thought. It's like, and we're doing this, and yes.
You're right. It'll be less believable. They'll have less control, less ability to trick you. Is that what you mean?
Yes. So ego is going to be in a very difficult position to defend. So it's coming up with it already has prepared very creative ways of getting us back to think that we are actually the thought. And it's going to keep on doing that for years and years, even after we have fully discovered that we are actually not the thought. So that's why it's extremely...
Does it ever stop? Does it ever stop?
It stops. And that's the good news. Because year after year of grinding and listening to this bullshit, eventually, because you're not giving it any energy. If you're not giving it energy, it cannot sustain itself. You are the power.
So it can't.
You are the power that is choosing whether this thing lives or not. So it literally does not have a control over anything. You are the power. You, the being that seems to inhibit this body, seems to move the body. You can move the body without any thought. You just focus on your being and you see that you know everything. Everything. That's how easy life is. But no, we stop and think, and we try to figure out ways, and we listen to these voices, and we contemplate, and we conjure up thoughts, and visions, and analysis, and then we make decisions. And then we end up in the same place that we've been before, with problems. With problems.
I'll tell you what, I'm a really good faker because I do pretty well, and it's like, yeah, I'm pretty good, and I'm pretty tapped into the all. I'm pretty tapped into the all for sure. I know I am. There's these things where it's like, Frank, you're listening to all this stuff on the news or whatever. Like, come on, I'm telling you what the truth is. You know my voice. I'm telling you. So I'm tapped in, but not like I was before. When I was in this space before, everything was very easy. I always knew. There was no question. I just always knew. Just knew. It's absolutely what we would say is supernatural. Absolutely felt like I was cheating. I was reading minds for sure. I was like, I know what you're saying. In my specific mind, I was saying to myself, you just said that to me, but I know that your intent is different. And I can totally read it all the time. No one could lie to me. Most of the time, people can't lie to me now, and I know it. Nobody, even the best liar, could not lie to me. I mean, I was seeing right through all of it. Math. Really good with math, Sachi. Not so good with math, generally speaking.
All right.
All of a sudden, I'm sitting there doing all my own work orders, what the manager was doing for me, Jay. Because he would do that part, because I sell a lot. He's like, don't worry, I'll take care of the math part. I'll do the estimating part and all that shit. No. That wasn't proper or right. I was always doing what was right, too, by the way. I said to myself, Frank, that's not right. You're letting him now take control of your money making, first of all. Second of all, you're burdening him because you have not taken it upon yourself to become strong and learn the math. Quit making excuses and learn the math. You can do this. And so, my voice would always be there for me to show me the right way and help me through it. And so I got real good with the math. I'd be up till midnight, a lot of nights, at my computer after a long day working the sun. It didn't matter. I didn't need to sleep. The sleep's not really required. I didn't need to sleep. I was doing real well, Sash, and my goodness, did I grasp math unbelievably for the first time in my life. Yeah, I miss this space, bro. Do you know what the reason why I was saying that to you is that I fake it real well? Is because when I look at where I was in that space, brother, I'm worlds apart from that right now. Even though I'm pretty good, dude, I was so in that space. I know I had a ways to go. But man, was everything easy. And man, was it so obvious that whenever somebody would be like, I don't know if God's real, like, I think I'm an atheist, and I would think, well, bless you. I mean, that's your business. That's okay. Like, in my mind, I was like, oh, if you saw the truth, and you will probably one day. But, yeah, man, I'm telling you, I miss that space, and it takes me a lot of work to do it. Remember I said it's more one way to skin a cat? Well, different methods can do different things to the human body and the mind, and different practices, right? No one way is definitely right, but there's different ways that work for different people. And I was doing certain practices, man, that was making it happen unbelievably. But it took me not eating any animals, not eating any animal byproduct, being very kind to people, conscious effort, do not be mean to anyone. You have no right to be doing that. Giving up all the good parking spaces whenever I would park to say, that's very selfish. Why don't you let someone who can't walk as well as you take the closer parking space, Frank? Like every single time I was doing all these things that I saw to be the right
thing, yeah.
It's the right thing. It's a simple way to put it, yeah. Man, I miss that space, bro. I mean, I can go back there when I wish to. I can make all the excuses about why I'm not doing it too. I'm busy with work.
And I ask you this now. Who said all of those things that you just did? Oh, I miss those times. I miss those. Who said that? Is it Frank really? Or is the ego?
I don't know. I want to say a little bit of both. I don't know.
It is a little bit of both.
Well, I'm gonna say it's the ego because that thing, that allness that's inside of us, never will talk about going to do it or anything like that, and we'll just do it. So I'm gonna say that's the ego talking.
That was the ego talk. So whenever I ask who said that, you will know instantly, like, which part of you said that.
Yep. Yes, sir. That's for sure. And if you want to not kid yourself and be honest, you know which one it was.
And then you can...
I mean, if I want to not kid myself, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. And then you can decide for yourself, like, wow, what to do about it. You have a choice.
Do I want that one taken over, or do I want to be the one that's steering?
Exactly. It's a difficult choice because you understand how much hard work that takes.
Is that what Jesus is saying, I am that I am? Because he could say, I am something great. I am a preacher. I am a whatever. No, I am that I am. Which means I'm the thing I said first, which is basically nothing. I am just, I just be.
I'm being.
I'm a being.
Yes. Yes. And that is a difficult thing to maintain when the ego is like running crazy all over the place.
I'm gonna kick that motherfucker's ass. I'm sick of that little son of a bitch.
Yeah, it is like
I'm here in Missouri. I'm going to borrow one of these guys' old muskets and shoot that ego right in the head. Oh, no, wait a minute. Don't do that.
Shoot him up.
You know, that's the thing. The ego is like this evil little parasite that has intertwined so nicely with the being that the being thinks that it's the ego.
You just described the ego so beautifully. Ego is this evil that has intertwined with our being so perfectly that we do not even recognize that it's intertwined with us.
Right.
Something like that, in that sense.
That's right.
And
it's interesting.
And it's living.
Spiral into the DNA almost. Yeah.
Almost, yeah. Well, yeah, it is the DNA. It's like this world is made by it. Like, it's using this world to manipulate us.
Yes, but we can change the coding at any time. It can change the coding anytime we ask it to. The Lord, I'm talking about the Lord, the Almighty. Whenever we want to vibe and fall into the Almighty and let it all go, it'll change the code and cleanse. It'll make it all right. That's what you're talking about with the trees, cutting down all the trees in the forest, and all of a sudden they all fucking grow back. All the shoots grow back, and it's like, now we got a clean, regenerated body, mind, everything.
Without ego in our being, without
the roots,
without a thought,
yeah,
without a thought in our being, this is heaven on earth. We're living heaven on earth. Like, imagine like you driving your truck without a thought, which is what you're doing most of the time. It's
right?
Imagine talking to people without a thought. You just see a human being, you go and approach them, and you don't know what you're going to say. There's no preparation. You just walk up to them, and then your mouth just opens, and you somehow magically say things to them, and they're overjoyed. They're
just the right things. You done it wasn't you per se. It wasn't the ego anymore now that said that. That was the Lord.
It was the Lord within you. God speaks through you. There's no thinking about it. It is Him.
Yeah, it's undeniable for sure. We know that's undeniable, and that happens. You can't. It's that is. It's that. I can't. You can't. It's funny, right? And you try to say and describe. You cannot put into words. Nothing can put into words. There's no need for a word. You know why I can't put into words? Because you know why I just came to? Because it's every fucking word. It's everything. How can you say I love reggae music, I love rock, I love jazz? Boom. If we're being honest, somebody says, "What's your favorite music?" I don't have a favorite. It depends on what space I'm in, and that vibes with me, and I'll say that's my favorite. It's the same thing. It's because the Lord is every last blessed word we could ever think of in this existence at once. So to try to say the Lord is all good, or the Lord is whatever, it is never adequate and sufficient, because it never will really describe. It's everything at once. You can't use one word. It's impossible. It'll never work.
It will never work. God comes in gently. Very, very gently. Because God loves us. And it's going to come in small little amounts because of its great magnitude of influence. He does not want to surprise us with its magnificence, because we would just prostrate on the floor and maybe never come back out of the shock of the magnitude.
Yeah, that's the answer. I was going to ask you, why is the Lord allowing humans to be plagued throughout the ages by this little fucker called the ego? And that might be the answer.
It is not allowing, and that's the whole teaching. Ego ego does not even exist, and only God exists. That means this
So
whole...
why the trick? Why the trick? Why the illusion of the ego then? Why? Why must it be so?
We, you and I, as being created by God, have a will on our own. You and I are one together with our brothers and sisters and all living beings here. And this is a one unity. And we have decided that we want to have something on our own. And we, in one small, very, very small moment, you cannot even call it a moment, while we are being in creation with God, we have decided that, oh, maybe there is something else and maybe I can be my own God. In that very, very small moment, we have created the ego, which suggested instantly, why don't you just live right here so you can hide yourself from God and be your own God? And we are doing that right now. We are hiding from God. We do not want to go back to God. And even if we want, even when we do want to go back to God, when God talks to us, we do not want to listen.
Why is this so?
Because we feel extremely guilty for leaving God. We feel tremendous guilt, and guilt can be felt in every thought system that you have. Every thought system. From how should I deal with my workers? Should I go and talk to that person and try to make a pitch to sell her this job? Should I go and say thank you to this grocery clerk for bagging my groceries? Should I go and kiss my wife right now? Because she's feeling not good and I have to go and maybe comfort her. In every thought that happens across our minds, as we call it, there is a guilt being built in. That's why observation of the thoughts is necessary to see that there is a guilt being built into it. Once we see all of our thought patterns, we will be able, by ourselves, through our own personal experience, to see what's really going on. Without absolute, perfect observation of our thought system, we will not be able to see the full extent of the illusion, of the hypnosis that we are in. And hypnosis, of course, is the ego. Ego is a conglomeration of the thoughts. That means one thought is the one tongue of the ego. Second thought is the second tongue of the ego. Imagine a dragon with millions of thousands of tongues, and they're all speaking. Well, you need to chop that head off. Who is going to do that but you?
No, because I want to talk about that situation. All I have to match up what you're saying really is what I went through at this time, Sasha. And I'll tell you that it's interesting how method to stay right was to constantly be on guard with the wrong way trying to tell me to go do something. I'm like, nah, that's not. I hear you again. I know what you mean. It was constant, all the time.
All the time. So the ego never stops, if you notice. The thoughts never stop, and there's a good reason for it. The reason is it has to keep your attention at itself, because if it stopped, you would, probably within 10 seconds, you would fall directly where you actually belong, where you are right now, into your own being, and you will experience the bliss of God. And ego cannot allow for that to happen. That's why you're just experiencing what you're experiencing, and it's a problem. It's like the thoughts keep on coming in, and you keep on being served bad food.
Yeah. Yeah. It was slow.
So it's like, in order for us to get out of this bad restaurant, we need to recognize first that we are in a bad restaurant. If we just keep on eating the bad food, it's gonna be like, oh, wait, I'm gonna be 80 years old, and I'm gonna just be still suffering because I'm eating really not tasty stuff. While imagine someone coming into your restaurant, into that restaurant that you're eating all the time, and telling you, you know what? There's this other restaurant outside. It's called Outside. And you go out and you just see the sun for the first time. You go outside of the restaurant, you see the sun, and then you walk into the forest. And then you go out to the ocean. And then you go see other people. You've been eating by yourself in a restaurant. That's our being. There is much more. That's who we are out there. We've been eating really not tasty things served by the ego right now. Just listen to your thoughts, and you tell me that that is not true. You tell me that the thoughts that you're getting are tasty, and you really want them. You really want to hear those thoughts. You don't want them. That's going to be your answer. You wake up in the morning. You wake up in the morning. You become conscious, and you're still laying down, and the ego is pounding you with thoughts already about whatever it's pounding you with. It's a terror. It's a terrorism. If there is a word for, if there is a, terrorists are acting upon you at that moment.
Yep, for sure.
This needs to be dealt with. And the only one that can be in charge of making decision to deal with this is you, the one that's experiencing it. And the one that's going to help you there is not you. The one, you just need to ask for help and say this: help me, God. Help me, God. Until you get answered. That's all.
Yeah. I don't know that I'll ever do it again. I don't know that I'll ever go there again so fully. It's a lot of work. It took a lot of work, man. I still didn't get it. took a fucking year of doing it, and just telling that little sumbitch to shut the hell up, and just like being like, cut the shit, like just stop. The whole thing of just because you could doesn't mean you should. Understanding all the virtues of the existence, really seeing it all and being like, wow, it could be so easy, and I could be so nice to people. Man, I gotta tell you, if I'm being honest, at least the space I'm in now, I'm not gonna go try to do it again.
I understand.
Life has me. Life has me.
I understand.
This world, this doesn't mean I'm an evil one. It just means for me to enlighten to that level. Now, I'm still levels above in this work, in this great work, beyond many around me. It does not mean, though, that if I'm being very honest with you right now, I'm not interested in doing the work. It was so much work, bro. I know what you've done. It's a lot of fucking work, dude. What you said is true about that if people knew what kind of work this really was, being on a roof or doing physical work is nothing compared to it. Yeah.
The
I can't
work.
do it again, is how I feel right now.
Okay.
But that may change. This is how I feel now.
Okay.
You know?
I can only say...
Isn't that sad? That really sounds like I'm giving up, doesn't it?
I can only say one thing. There's nothing that can prevail against the will of God.
Say it again? Say it again, I hear.
There's nothing that can prevail against the will of God. And you are the will of God.
Then why am I being so lazy?
You're just taking your time, and that's totally okay. You have your own will that God has given you. God's will is
Do you
you.
think this is... say that again?
God's will is you. And He has given you the will. That means you have your own choice. And whenever you choose to go back to Him, you will. So now it's just like...
Good.
Yes.
Sorry, did you get into a spot when you started to get close towards the end? You probably didn't know you're at the end. But as you got really good with it, and you started really doing it well, and it was losing its power, did you start to get to a spot where you saw yourself as a person be so powerful? I'm talking about like just the real power. You know what I mean when I say powerful?
Yes.
Did you start to get frightened by it? By what you were becoming?
Of course. I was being terrified.
You're being terrorized?
Terrified by the power that I was about to become.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And I decided, you know what?
Am I making an excuse by saying that I believe truly, if I'm being honest with why I stopped the work? It's not because it was too hard. I started to scare the shit out of myself, dude. I started to be like, what the fuck? Like, this is not a joke. You're really, really powerful. Like, you can really affect people unbelievably. You better really use responsibility. And I started really getting nervous about, am I going to misuse this power? And here I am becoming even more powerful every moment. Dude, maybe it's the ego, but I'm telling you, or maybe it's an excuse, but it fucking scared the shit out of me. I was worried that I wouldn't use it well. I was already too powerful, and I wasn't even there. I swear to God I was reading minds and shit, Doc. Yeah, it really did not make me feel comfortable. And I felt like I was separating from everyone. Like,
Can
I'm
I?
so different now from everyone. Like, I can't even relate to these people. Even people I always had related to. They're like, Frank, you're like kind of different. Like, what? You're... So, okay, it's a good thing. You're really nice and stuff now. Like, you're way kinder, but you're just kind of on a different level. And I started separating from people, dude. Now, I don't know, man. Maybe that's the ego talking, bro, but I really feel like it's my deepest feeling that I started getting frightened.
Can
I
I?
really did. I started seeing entities. I started seeing the good and bad entities. I started seeing all kinds of shit. You know, the winds start seeing all kinds of things.
What are
swimming
you
around. And I was fine
afraid
with it
of?
a bit. It can't do shit to me. I know that.
What are you afraid of?
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Well, I can find out when I go inside, but right now, outwardly, I'm totally, I don't know.
You have never stopped doing the work.
Why am I not nearly as committed to it then?
You have never stopped doing the work. You think.
Yeah.
Who is thinking that it's you stop doing the work? Who is thinking that?
Because of my practices, really. Quite frankly, because of my practices. I know that doing the practices of smoking cigarettes, eating meat here and there like I do these days, that it's not the way. I know it's not the way. And I know I'm not taking the right path by doing it. And, you know, I mean, what else can I say about that? I know I'm doing wrong. I'm not doing those things that allow my body to vibrate.
Stop judging yourself.
Walls with crappy food and shit.
Stop judging yourself. Stop being so hard on yourself. You literally have to stop.
Yeah, but if I don't be so hard on myself, am I going to, you know, lose myself or control myself and then do something bad to myself or my brothers and sisters? Do you see the fear?
Those are not your fears. Those are the thoughts of the ego. Those are not your fears. They're just thoughts, they're voices that you hear around your head region. You see, you hear it in your truck.
Yeah.
And they're just like, they're hunting you. That's not you. That is not you. And
you're right. Thank you for saying that, what you said about how I haven't stopped doing the work, because I still have been doing the work. I haven't been doing it as intensively, maybe, but I've still been doing it. It is true.
The work is not what
it's been on my mind every fucking day, brother.
The work is not what you think it is. The work is what has been arranged for you. Don't you think God had a plan for you to be and talk with me right now about this? And every other day that you had thinking and contemplating and observing and projecting and seeing things, don't you think that there is a plan there? And that you're just like lost? And that's the ego talk, my brother. You have been working. You have been working really hard, as a matter of fact. Otherwise, you and I would not be even talking.
Yeah, that's true. There's no way I would have been connected in this life with you. With you being on the path that you're on. And with us feeling so close. I couldn't feel this close with someone like you.
This is a very intimate type of work. It's more intimate than lovemaking.
It is. It's interesting, right? Lovemaking is very superficial. Think about it.
This type of work creates God. brings God here in flesh
Yeah. Yeah.
between two human beings.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing.
You and I are bringing the Almighty right now here. Are you aware of that?
Mm-hmm.
Because where two have gathered in my name, there I will be also. Feel it. Feel your own self. Feel your being right now.
I do, and I always know when the fire is burning, is purging out the bullshit, because the tears start to come. You know, they come less when there's less to purge out. We can get right to this space with each other and have the Lord vibe between us. And I don't do nearly so many tears when I'm cleaned out pretty nicely. I'm not cleaned out as nicely as
Stop
I can be, for
your blabbering, ego. Accept your divinity that you are. Accept all the work that you have done, all the sacrifice you have done. Remember everything that you have done for the Almighty. Remember. Do you think after all of that he will leave you alone?
No, definitely not. No, but that does not mean that I get to sit right at the table.
Stop.
See, this is the issue with the ego. It says that unless you have hit this certain level, you don't get to sit at God's table.
Talking.
Like, that's the ego again doing that shit. It's the
Stop
ego again. That's hilarious.
making excuses.
That's how I think. That's how I think, dude. I think if I don't hit these levels like this and keep working so hard, and I want to pick a cigarette up and I want to go do whatever, these things that make it be that I don't vibe so nicely, it's toxic. I feel that it's toxic. And if I don't do these things, and I'm not so perfect,
gradual.
I don't get to sit directly at the table. That's nonsense.
Path is gradual.
Mm.
You cannot just jump to the levels, man.
Yeah, but I feel like I jumped down a bunch of rungs on the ladder, dude. I really do. I know it's the ego, but there's a truth to it that I was there vibing and I'm not now like I was. There's a truth in that.
There is also a manipulation by the ego making you think that you're not where you are. Which part of your mind, which part of the thoughts that you have is making you think that you're not where you are? Or was
the competitive side, the side that always says do better, do better, do better, get better, get better. You can be better than that. Get better, get better. That part.
Well,
if I'm being honest, I mean that's the side that's
I'm telling you that is false.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you are not where you think you are. I'm telling you where you are.
Why am I doing this to myself? You can't answer that. You don't need to. I need to figure out that answer, why I'm doing this to myself. Why do I feel that I deserve this? This is nonsense. I don't deserve this.
Exactly. That's why it's difficult for you to accept where you are, because you think you don't deserve this. Who thinks you don't deserve that? the ego.
Right.
Your thoughts. Where do those thoughts come from? They're just voices in your truck around your head region. Who are those? What are those? They're projections by who fucking cares who, where, from.
Right. Whether they're entities or whatever the fuck it is, who gives a shit, right? No, man.
You're here with me and you feel your being. If you're there by yourself in your truck and I'm not here, where would you go to reestablish a connection with the highest?
Well, I can do it anywhere. Nature is where I like to go to do it, but it's not necessary. I can do it anywhere. Do it, drive it in the truck. It's
Okay.
it's so crazy. I know. It's a simple switch. It's a quick switch. It's
Can
a
you-
quick switch in choice, and all of a sudden you're in there.
Can you do something for me?
Yeah.
Can you focus on the top of your head, on your top of your skull? And stay there for a minute while I'm talking.
Okay.
That is the spot at the top of your skull where your hair separates naturally, where you can establish connection with God. Stay there and receive instruction. You will not receive it through any kind of thought, voice, visual, analysis, commentary. Anything that you hear, it's ego. You'll receive it through knowing what you need to do. You can ask, should I go there? And your head is going to move up, down for yes. It's going to move left and right for no. Naturally. That's where the Master Self, the Holy Spirit, will talk to you. You have to focus really hard on that spot before you ask for an answer. Do not trust anything else. Anything else. And if you want to get any amount of peace, including bliss, you do want to go there. You can already sense the peace. It's there. Your being. You can feel your being. That is you, Son of God. All right, minute's up. The earth calls. The earth calls.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, the earth calls.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
your.
you for. It helps, man. It helps a lot. You help. You can take nice feelings with you, knowing that you definitely help.
Thank you. You are the treasure that everyone wants. Be the treasure that everyone wants. stay within your own treasure. It's right there. Ignore all those demon thoughts that you have right now.
Because I feel you thinking them.
Yeah, I see them right there on your face.
You're awesome. Dude, you're awesome.
All right, brother.
Hey, thank you. And say hi to Mayana, please. And are you guys doing well with the eating raw food still? Are you guys still doing?
We're doing vegetarian one, and it's great. I really enjoy it. It's easy, and
Feel good?
yeah, everything is wonderful.
Feel lighter?
I
Your body
feel
feel light?
oh yes, definitely. Whenever I would eat meat, there's this certain heaviness about.
Yeah.
And I tried. I mean, I really tried. I mean, different times I would switch, like, okay, after a month I go and eat like meat dish, and I just feel I don't feel like, it tastes good, but I don't feel good.
It tastes good.
Like,
it tastes good. Yeah, it doesn't make you feel good.
So I'm like, what is the point? What is the point? So
right now I realize I'm doing because a couple of reasons. I don't know if it's true. I'll let you go. I think.
Oh yeah, I'm no rush, but
it's kind of an acceptance that these guys all eat meat. It's kind of like, to kind of do what people around me are doing, my friends are doing. But it's only sometimes that I'll do that. And then the other thing is, I feel like, in terms of just, let's just say spiritual dynamics, okay?
Yeah.
Realm dynamics, okay? The way the energies move. That there is a strength that comes from eating meat that an entity will get. I'm an entity. And I don't know, yeah, maybe that's the ego that's being fed by the meat. Thinking it's getting all strong and powerful and like a rock from eating meat. To be able to withstand the rigors of this world. See what I'm saying? To be strong like a rock. Got to eat meat to be able to withstand the rigors of this world. To be a tough being.
Right.
Yeah, that's the ego talking. But if I'm being honest, that's what I'm thinking when I eat the meat. And like, I need strength. I don't know if I need that kind of strength.
Ask the master inside. Ask your own being. And receive a yes or no question. The questions could be, should I go and order this from the menu? Or let your finger go through the menu and like land on whatever point and see and eat that. That's how perfect the path is.
Yep.
You cannot make a mistake. If you're... There's no mistake.
Yeah, it's foolproof. It is foolproof.
Yes.